Welcome to worship with the Universalist Unitarian Church of Peoria. My name is Reverend Innis. It is my great joy to be the minister with this congregation of all people of all ages and all stages of life. This is a beloved community embracing its mission of embracing freedom, loving wholeheartedly, growing in mind, body, and spirit, and adding to the wholeness and the healing of the world. We welcome people of all ethnicities and races, sexual orientation, gender identities, social and economic situations, politics, and abilities. We advocate for human rights, and we strive to be good stewards of our earth. In living our mission, we recognize the network of relationships of which we are a part. This is the ancestral home of the Peoria people. They and other nations were here long before the first European settlers came down the Illinois River. So we take a moment, as we've been asked to do in our service, and recognize the Peoria people for who they were and for who they are today. I want to thank folks for joining us in person and online. Especially thank you for joining us in all the ways that we can gather this morning. We recognize how precious it is to be able to come together to expand our circles of connection. And so thank you for joining us and for entering into a beloved community. Helping us get to know you as well would be great. If you are new today, please find a name tag. We have ushers and greeters. We love all the questions. So welcome and thank you. And also, I invite folks to stay after the service today and join us for coffee and conversation. We have a bunch of cookies carried over from yesterday's memorial service for Henry Curran. So welcome, have cookies. And if you're joining us on Zoom, welcome, and also have the conversation there as well. Let me invite you to turn your respective devices to worship mode, whether silent or vibrate, as we settle in for the service today. So I have a few notes. One, again, thank you for joining us in all the ways that we gather, whether in person or whether online. I really appreciate being able to do this. I was looking up weather cancellation practices amongst my colleagues in one of the ministers' groups, and all the ones that were forming had conversation were more like from 2014 and 2016. And I'm like, oh, we are in a Zoom world now. That conversation is a little bit different. So it is good to be together in all the ways that we can. Today after service, we have caroling gathering in. Will be those who are willing and able to come and join us for caroling. We'll be gathering here in the sanctuary at 1 o'clock. Kathy McNeil will get us a little bit warmed up with the carols, and we'll kind of figure out our strategy for where we're going to go first. We're going to check out, go and sing a bit for some of the members of the congregation who live in some of the area retirement homes and really can't get out to join us in person anymore. Also, this coming Saturday, the 20th, is the Yule ritual led by the keepers of the Great Grove. I want to invite folks, it's an all ages, everybody is welcome kind of event. Come and join us as we honor the longest night. And this coming Sunday, next Sunday is our winter pageant, the Snow Tree, and helpers of all kinds are welcome, including all kinds of voices, all kinds of ages, and so on. We have masks, we have parts to read. Jessie Laughlin is the person to see for information about that. And it's amazing that it keeps happening every year, but Christmas Eve is coming. Christmas Eve is nearly upon us, which may be inspiring to some and fill us with a sense of dread for others, and that's okay. So I want to invite folks to our lessons and carol service at 7 p.m. You are welcome to bring friends, family, folks that you meet along the way. I am also, we have some wonderful music from Emily Holmes Hicks, and also her parents will join her at the end of the service, along with wonderful music from Sherry Seckler. We are looking for folks who can be readers for the Christmas Eve service. I have a bunch of different parts, both kind of traditional scripture as well as modern readings. And also we're needing some help with ushering and providing some holiday refreshments right after the service. So if you can do the ushering or helping with hospitality, I want you to see Regina Stanley. And thank you. And now I invite us to turn to our first hymn, number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. We will play through once and sing 3 times, so a total of 4 times, Sherry. Okay, four, that way. Please rise in body or spirit. Please be seated. And I invite Mary Mulholland Kafar forward for our opening words.
Good morning, everyone. Hope comes to claim us by Reverend Hannah Roberts-Villeneuve. In the season of long, cold nights, hope isn't waiting for us to find it. Hope isn't sitting patiently on the sidelines. Hope seeks out the forgotten places, the longest nights, the damaged temple, the overcrowded stable, and every corner where tomorrow seems impossible. Hope bursts in uninvited, without concern for our carefully crafted plans. Hope shows up as a lamp that keeps burning. Hope shows up as an improbable baby. Hope shows up as the sun returning without ever having left. Hope shows up as tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and then tomorrow against all odds. We feel the future breaking on the horizon. When we are weary from battle, when the empire seems inevitable, and when darkness is growing around us, hope comes to claim us, and we have a chance to say yes.
And I invite Regina and Riley forward for our chalice lighting.
Our Beacon of Hope by Reverend Joseph M. Cherry. As we gather together for worship this morning, being both near and far, we light our chalice as we do each week. It is a symbol of our faith. May its light be a beacon of hope for the many, those who feel lost, those who feel threat, those who feel tired, those who are uncertain. May our beacon of hope help you find home, help you feel safe, give you respite, and honor your searching mind and spirit.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl I know this rose will open. During our music for meditation, all are welcome to come forward for a chance to light candles and make a small light that acknowledges what is with you and within you. And if you are online, I invite you to let these candles be for you as well. Let us now enter into our music for meditation. From Abraham Heschel. Prayer invites God to be present in our spirits and in our lives. Prayer cannot bring water to parched land, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. This is the time for the sharing of joys and sorrows in the congregation. First, we hold Terry Malone in our care, and she looks forward to a later date for her surgery. Surgery was supposed to be tomorrow, but it needs to be delayed while she uh, has some monitoring for her health. So we wish that new date would come soon and in good time, and that it goes well as well. I want to thank everybody who assisted with yesterday's memorial service for Henry Cran, especially given the deepening snow and the cold. Sandy Meskimen and the family really appreciated all the service itself and all of the care. This evening marks the first night of Jewish celebration of Hanukkah. From Amanda Udis Kessler, she says, "We welcome the Hanukkah candles in wonder, joy, and gratitude, each candle a miracle. When the Holy Temple was rededicated at the time of the Maccabean liberation battle, only 1 day's worth of oil remained, and yet it burned for 8 days. So we light candles in remembrance." And unfortunately, in this moment, it comes with sorrow. In our larger world, we keep the Jewish community in Sydney, Australia, in our hearts. At the festival in honor of the first night of Hanukkah, 2 gunmen shot dozens of people, killing 11. We share the sorrow of the community. We offer sorrow for the families of the dead and for the families of those physically and emotionally injured. Australia seems so very far away, and it is not. It happens that the son of one of my fellow UU ministers is part of that Jewish community in Sydney. This attack targeted people in a moment of religious celebration. Let us not forget that all of us are connected, and all of us need all of us to make it. Let us hold one more moment of quiet. Within us and among us are so many names and milestones, joys and sorrows. Our circle expands to hold all. Let us pause to breathe in this circle of care. I invite you to breathe with me and pause. Amen, salam, shalom, and blessed be. And now I invite Jesse forward for offering the story today.
A little prelude to the story. Who knows what animal I might be talking about today? What animal? A penguin, in fact. In fact, penguins. Quite a few years ago, there was a documentary, and like any good I love a good documentary about penguins called The March of the Penguins. And I would like to share a story of hope that those penguins can give to us. The Emperor Penguins, masters of choosing hope. This reflection is assembled by the Reverend Michelle Collins. So, in the wintertime, Antarctica is even colder and even darker than central Illinois. I know, hard to believe how cold it was last night, but even colder. And the winds are blowing up to 120 miles an hour. And the penguins that live there say, I know, this is the perfect time to lay an egg and hatch it. And they're not wrong, because they're the only creatures that are there. Their babies are safe. But it takes all of them together to hold those eggs and keep them safe all winter long. All those penguins together gather in a circle and they huddle, and outside of the circle, it's negative 50 degrees. And in the middle of the circle, it's 75 degrees. Those penguins and their community make it possible to have new penguin chicks the next year. Isn't that amazing? I think it's pretty amazing. So together they huddle. The daddies are the ones holding those eggs, keeping them safe. And the moms have to go out and feed themselves after they've made that egg. So they have to feed themselves. And when the moms come back, they take custody of that egg back. And the daddies, who have spent many, many long, cold weeks holding those eggs safe, those daddies go out and feed themselves and fill their cups and their bellies. And the mamas tag in and they raise together this little egg into a little penguin chick. All because of the magic and the warmth of their community. They prove that hope works not simply by magic, but with commitment and cooperation and the stubborn decision to protect what it is that matters most, no matter how impossible those odds might seem. I wonder what impossible things we can do together when we make hard choices and we come together and see what we can do. Maybe next week we'll do something that seems impossible and have a lovely winter pageant. So I invite all the kids and adult volunteers to join me to prepare for next week's pageant in religious education. Thank you.
I just want to offer how much I appreciate being part of this congregation, how much it is good to be together, how much we get to hear the movement and the presence of one another from all stages of life, even and including the happy running of feet in the sanctuary. This is a good thing, right? These are good things, even and including when we have to celebrate and remember people who have passed, as we did yesterday. And also when we make the effort to go forth from the warmth of this physical building, which one, just to be grateful that the building is warm, that's a note of good. But also we get to go forth from here as we do later this afternoon and go visit some of the folks who can no longer join us in person. These are all good things. These are all moments of gratitude, and it is such a joy to be here. And it is with all that spirit and more that we receive our weekly collection during our Sunday service to make an intentional act of giving and to recognize all that goes into making this congregation and making this presence, being a liberal presence in Peoria, possible. And we also send a portion of our gifts back out into the community with our Share the Plate effort. Half of the undesignated plate goes to a local group doing good work here. And for this month, our recipient is the Central Illinois Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. And they have been providing support and encouragement for the blind and visually impaired since 1955. They offer practical things such as learning Braille and equipment that can make accessibility more easy, but also emotional support, just good company, just knowing that helping people not feel so isolated and alone with social events and outings, but also simply services and connection. So our Share the Plate recipient is Central Illinois Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. If you would like to designate a gift, if you're using the envelopes, please do so. If you're making your pledge and you are using cash in the envelopes, please write your name and that it's for pledge. We want to make sure we keep track of things. And also you can go to the QR code in the order of service for giving as well. And now I invite the ushers to please come forward. From author Rebecca Solnit. Hope locates itself in the premises that we don't know what will happen, and that in the spaciousness of uncertainty is room to act. When you recognize uncertainty, you recognize that you may be able to influence the outcomes. You alone or you in concert with a few dozen or several million others. Hope is an embrace of the unknown and the unknowable, an alternative to the certainty of both optimists and pessimists. Optimists will think it will all be fine without our involvement, and pessimists that take the opposite position. Both excuse themselves from acting. It's the belief that what we do matters, even though how and when it may matter and who and what it may impact are not things we can know beforehand. Hope is the belief that what we do matters, even though how and when it may matter and who and what it may impact are not things we can know beforehand. Here ends the reading. Will you please rise and body your spirit and join me in our hymn number 95, There is More Love Somewhere. In addressing something as profound and complex as hope, I need to start with something a bit absurd. In Britain, one popular song has risen to be the most requested one at funerals in Britain. Can anyone guess what is the most requested song for funerals in Britain? Jingle bells. No. I love that. Yes. Always look on the bright side of life. From the comedy troupe Monty Python. All right. Thank you. Well done. So Monty Python, for those who don't know, is six gentlemen: John Cleese, Eric Idle, Terry Jones, Terry Gilliam, Graham Chapman, Michael Palin. In the 1970s and 1980s, they were known for their ability to poke fun at everything and anyone. They were doing slapstick, they were doing absurdist social commentary, and just straight out being funny. There was a TV show which somehow my eighth graders really gotten into watching Monty Python. Who knew? TV show and movies and music. Now, I recognize Monty Python is not to everyone's taste. That's fine. But they were, in fact, a great mirror to Western culture, and it still resonates. They still resonate. So always look on the bright side of life is the closing song in the Python movie, Life of Brian, which is a variation on the life and death of Jesus. The lyrics for Always Look on the Bright Side of Life acknowledge very much when life is going to heck, when one is facing death, when things are really bad and awful. And so now this song has become a bit of an anthem when some sports team lose as the closing song for the stadium. And it's just generally turned to when things are not going well. Eric Idle, who is the lead singer for the song, says, "What makes me proudest is that Always Look on the Bright Side of Life has become a funeral song." And I find that very moving. It is one of the moments when humans hold the awful and the inspirational all at once. So if you know it, I'm going to invite you just to sing the chorus with me. Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life. There we go. Thank you. We had to get that out of the system since I brought it up. Thank you. This holding the awful and the sublime, the awful and the amazing, all at once, is this navigation exercise when considering hope. So I confess I hesitate to really take a moment to talk about hope. Hope as an idea and as a human concept carries so much weight and expectation, and most treatments of it can feel so superficial and not authentic, to the point where people like, just don't talk to me about hope. It can be a false witness. It can be just mean nothing when there's true despair and concern for the human condition. Conversations about hope often don't connect with the hunger and the need that motivates the conversation in the first place. And I was deep in the wondering of how to begin to talk about choosing hope, which is kind of our theme for this month. And I will admit, I was feeling very earnest, but not very inspired. And then I saw this post about Always Look on the Bright Side of Life on Facebook. Thank you to our church member, Barbara Caraway, for posting it on her feed and singing the song and looking at the lyrics and thinking about Eric Idle, finding it meaningful. It just kind of unlocked my seriousness and stuckness about hope. And frankly, that might be part of the point. It might be part of the point of hope at its core, to unlock another perspective, another possibility. As Rebecca Solnit says, that it's not about optimism, it's not about pessimism, it's about wondering, it's about being open to something that might happen, and then doing something, not knowing where it's going to end, but doing something to maybe move that forward just a little bit. I think that's at the core of Unitarian Universalism as well. And we do this kind of being grounded, motivated by love, and wondering how and where we are going in our work. We are called to one another in our deep recognition of connection, and our sense of compassion for one another, and our sense of honoring all beings, honoring humans as having worth and dignity, and knowing that we have created so much struggle and systems of oppression for ourselves and others. How can we make something different? How can we bring more love into the world? And that motivates everything. I think part of where that destination can be, part of one of the ways to articulate where we're going. There's a song, and we are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. I think part of the articulation of destination is hope. I think a good companion with that sense of the beloved community that we're trying to strive to create, this heaven on earth, the kingdom of heaven in this moment that is both with us and is possible all at once. And this shows up in our theology in universalism, for example, which at its core is the understanding that we share a common destiny. Part of our modern understanding of universalism. In classic universalism from Christian scripture, it is the sense of God's love and Jesus' word and practice that saves us all, regardless of whether one has ever even heard of Jesus. We hear this in Hosea Ballew's treatise on atonement in 1805, that God is a loving God and is not to be feared for eternal damnation. And so, in that spirit, on this approach to Christmas is coming, in this Advent season, is the practice of anticipating the birth of the child who will redeem the world in the face of such grave hardship and move us away from the controlling of the empire. In our modern Unitarian Universalism, hope has such texture and must be in relationship with suffering, must be fully honest and authentic if we are to offer a relevant message of a liberal approach to religion in the world. We have to be fully in partnership to get proximate, as Brian Stevenson calls us to. If we're going to have a conversation about hope, about possibility, then we need to be in relationship with one another, with our neighbor, and not just looked at as trying to do the right thing or just giving something false and not really serious. 20th century theologian James Luther Adams, Unitarian theologian James Luther Adams, kind of reminds us of this in his understanding of a liberal approach to religion, which is we freely consent to being with one another. We have great power in our gathering together and our social concern. And all of this work that we do together gives us reason for an ultimate sense of optimism. Not immediate, he would say, but ultimate. That we get to be working towards something greater. As Rebecca Solnit said, regardless of not whether or not we know at all what the outcome or where the specifics will be. Adams reminds us that at our core in Unitarian Universalism is the idea that revelation is continuous. That what is not fixed. There is always a new thing to learn. There's always a new thing to explore. There's always a new story to tell. But it occurred to me also why we have this sense of hope in the first place. Where is this located for us? Because this has been an enduring theme. This understanding of hope has been common in our human experience since probably time began. I was thinking about, in that case, Pandora's box. I presume we know the story. You have Pandora's box. She was given charge of a box and told not to open it, but she couldn't resist, so she did. And in opening that box, unleashed all the evils and disease into the world. And she closed it as soon as she could, then realized there was one more piece in that box and was convinced to open it one more time and let out the tiniest little last presence, which was hope. Which was hope. Hope that would ease the pain of all that had been unleashed into the world. What strikes me in this moment is how that tiny little hope was powerful enough to be paired with all the overwhelming forms of suffering that we know as human beings and even death. That little piece of hope was so powerful that it could be with everything else that is painful and harmful and hurtful in us. Hope exists as a counter to those more powerful sources of pain that happen to us and are created by us. Part of my hesitation in talking about hope is that that's an easy thing for me to talk about, given my location and privilege. Whenever I have a conversation about hope, whenever we talk about hope, we also have to keep in mind all the folks who are trapped, all the folks who are suffering, all the folks who are facing deep challenges of which we just don't know. Folks, especially this time of year, who are unhoused and are facing the bitter cold. For children and youth who do not have the resources they need, who do not have the affirmation they need to be seen as whole and holy people, even here in Peoria. The ones I feel for are those around the world in impossible circumstances where no one knows who they are or where they are, and yet they are suffering. What is the hope that I can speak to for those I will never meet? And what am I doing to make that hope happen? I want to make sure also to say, for those of us, because I do not presume that all of us are feeling connected to hope at this moment, for those who are feeling disconnected from a sense of hope, for all kinds of good reasons, if you just look at the news, I'm not trying to sell you on it either. What I can offer is just that a different story might shift something and make it easier to recognize that there might be something else possible, to take the next step, to make the next meeting, to still feel human when all the systems around us stop any forward motion. I've been looking at those who have been practicing hope for a long time, even in the midst of terrible, terrible concern, such as those who are advocates for the earth. The late Joanna Macy offers a deep, wonderful practice of hope. She says, active hope is a practice. It's like Tai Chi or gardening. It is something we do rather than have. It is a process we can apply to any situation. It involves 3 key steps, she says. First, take a clear view of reality. First, take a clear view of reality. Second, identify what we hope for in terms of direction of we'd like things to move, or the values we'd like to see expressed. What's the direction? What's the values? And third, take the steps to move ourselves or our situation in that direction. So clear view of what's going on, where we'd like to go or what values to express, and then what's the next thing to do. I think that what are the values to express can be one of the most important parts of that practice of hope, as part of, I think, not feeling hopeful or not knowing what to do or feeling stuck in our context is in part because we don't see what's disconnected from what's important. And she says, since active hope doesn't require our optimism, see, going back to Rebecca Solnit, we don't need optimism. We can apply it even in areas where we feel hopeless. For Macy, the guiding impetus is intention. We choose what we aim to bring about, to act for or express. Rather than weighing our chances and proceeding only when we feel hopeful, we focus our intention and let it be our guide. So you're not waiting for hope to be there before you move. You're already saying, what do I want to see and what's important to me? Reconnecting with what's important and letting that be the motivation. Active hope, she says, involves identifying the outcomes we hope for and then playing the active role in bringing them about. We don't limit the choices to the outcomes that are likely. Instead, we focus on what is truly, deeply longed for and then proceed. What is truly, deeply longed for and then proceed. I think this is partially where Unitarian Universalism and our centering, having a centering in love, have that being one of our deepest motivations, and then saying, how do we bring that out into the world? That is that practice that leads to possibility and to the hope that manifests what is it we're truly, deeply longing for. And then to keep practicing. It is to be in relationship with our world whenever possible. It is not to be passive, not to be simply assuming it's going to work out, but in cultivating possibility. In cultivating possibility, given the realities of where we are. And so appreciate that image of the penguins, right? In the great, it's not just a circle, but a mass, a round mass that keeps shifting and moving. Some of the penguins get to be in for a while and get to be out for a while, different degrees and presences of the wind and the temperature, all moving to take care of one another in a very, very harsh environment. They keep acting and hoping and keep getting through. Close with a thought from my colleague, the Reverend Julian America Soto, and how Unitarian Universalists do this work. And they say, in this community, we hold hope close. We don't always know what comes next, but we cannot let it dissuade us. We don't always know just what to do, but that will not mean that we are lost in the wilderness. We rely on the certainty beneath the foundation of our values and ethics. We are the people who return to love like the North Star, and to the truth that we are greater together than we are alone. Our hope does not live in some glimmer of an indistinct future. Rather, we know the way to the world of which we dream. And by covenant and the movement forward of one right action and then the next, we know that one day we will arrive at home. Maybe part of what helps us get through is to keep singing. Always hold on to the brighter side of life. Let us keep holding hope close. Let us move ourselves into tomorrow. Amen. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing This Little Light of Mine. We got 3 verses there. Once through and 3 verses.
Hope Continues by Kevin Jago. When the candle dims, the wax almost spent, the light turns amber like a sunset. Still, it provides light. Still, it provides heat. Still, it can kindle a new flame and pass its glow on and contribute to new illumination. When sunsets turn to new days, when seasons transform all, when the candle dims, all is not lost. Hope continues, uncertain and true, like candlelight, ready to spark again. All is not lost.
From Michelle Collins. Go from this place knowing that hope is not a certainty, but rather a choice. While the world offers you despair, choose possibility. When cynicism seems reasonable, choose engagement. May our hope be grounded in love and expressed through action. And may we return here when you need to find the courage to choose again. Our worship is ended. Let our service begin.